Today is the video you've all been waiting for. The Dell Latitude D810. This is my new laptop. Let's take a look. We have a DVD ROM drive, more on that later. And we have some USB ports and some audio jacks. And we have an air intake on the back, which this thing doesn't stand up very well, so I hope I don't knock it over. We have more cooling vents, Ethernet and a modem, 2 USB ports. This is a display out for S-Video, serial, VGA, and power, and another intake. And we also have over here, which I completely skipped over because I forgot about it, infrared. On this side, I have to be careful here, we have another intake, Kensington lock. This is the hard drive, you have to undo 2 screws on the bottom. And this, which is a PCMCIA slot, which I will be using eventually. For possibly something like a Firewire card, I don't know. Inside here, we have a nice 15-inch. Now this is 1680 by 1050, which actually makes it better than the Mac I have. Nice keyboard with a track point. I don't know if you can see that, but somewhere around there. We have a trackpad with the most clicky buttons ever. These buttons, by the way, are for the track point, although you can use either. We have volume control and an integrated mute button, and we have power. Now this thing has battery. It should have battery power, so let's turn it on. Dell. Okay, we're going to boot into Ubuntu Mate 16.04, and this chair is really squeaky. So as it's loading up, I'll tell you the specs of this. This has a Pentium M around the Core era. It's just after Pentium 4. I don't really know what it actually is. Running at 2.26 gigahertz, although it has speed step enabled, so at the moment, when it loads up, it'll probably be running at 1.3, 1.1 maybe, I don't know, it changes. Possibly even 800, it runs at 800 megahertz minimum. Now this DVD drive, as I was explaining earlier, and I'm going to do this when the machine's on, you can eject it, and obviously it's just a standard laptop style DVD drive, but there's a little button you press and it pops a little handle out. Pull the whole drive out. This is what you call the Dell DB. Let's put it back in. Now that technology lets you put in a CD-ROM, CD burner, DVD-ROM, DVD burner. You can have a second hard drive in here. You can have a second battery in here, or even a piece of plastic to make the thing lighter. So you can put a lot of stuff in there. There's probably something I've missed too. Anyway, we're all loaded up here. Let me start my screen reader. Okay.
Screen reader on. Ubuntu frame.
You can see the, I don't know what that arrow's about. You can see the sound works. Let's turn it down a bit. You probably can't hear that now, but you probably won't want to either. So this thing works fine. I mean, you've got all your menus here and things. I don't do a whole lot on here. I have got a preview program on here. Let me just put the camera down. I just typed in this command here. It's one of my programs, and if we run it, notice this bar on the side here. Now, to give you a gauge of how good this display is, that is 200 pixels big. This is going to be a sidebar. Now, if I show you the old version here, which is Python. Oops, hold on. This is a Git repository, so. Oh, it's not called that. What's it called? Let me just list these files. What? Oh, I guess I deleted it. Well, I was going to show you the old version that actually had some stuff on it, but anyway, this sidebar is going to end up being, well, similar to the Vista sidebar, where you can add widgets but unlike the Vista sidebar, it's actually going to be usable and good. It's going to be part of my OS Ocean Desktop, which will come eventually, guys. I know you've been waiting for it for over a year, and I know a lot of you don't even know about it, because probably only my friends know about it. But it is going to happen. The Wi-Fi works on this. It does have built-in Wi-Fi. It appears to have built-in Bluetooth, although I haven't tested that. This looks like a pretty good machine. Oh, I never finished telling you the specs. It originally had a 1 gigabyte of RAM. I have since upgraded that to 2 gigs because I had a broken spare laptop, so I took the 1 gig out of that and added it into the free slot. It has an 80 gig hard drive. I talked about the display already and a bunch of other stuff. Let's load Firefox here and see how it works. Now, it does slow down a bit when you do this, but it does work. See, it's loaded. And I can go to techified-news. And that should work. Let me just make sure this is focused. And I've got my web browser set to match the theme. But what I do is, I have Compass enabled, so I just negative the window. Or, if I want to negative the whole desktop, I can do that as well. This is something that I love about Ubuntu Mate. The negative and the zoom, which I'll show you now, you have to hold this and zoom in. And you can zoom in and I can move around. And you can zoom out the same way. Now, this isn't a multi-touch trackpad, but I have enabled the side scrolling, which seems to work good enough. So, yeah, this thing works absolutely fine. And I love the fact that you can zoom and negative stuff out of the box. I don't know what that was all about. Let's go away. Anyway, this was just supposed to be a quick video, so let's shut it down. Oops. Of course, I shut it down like this. And that's going to ask me for my password, which I am going to put in. Good night, computer. So that was the video on the Dell Latitude D810. Watch out for another video on that thing right there, because that will come eventually. That's my HP DC5700, and that is the monitor that I recorded my previous video on. I will see you guys later.